welcome to Roleplay Cafe. We're here today to playtest Dark Age of Man with Donnie to my upper left and O'Neill to my upper right. I am Dale. Delicious, as they say. Anyway, Jason, I hope you got your eyes on. I know you're going to be watching this if nobody else does. And anyway, thanks for the random seed chart, which we will be using. I have no clue what's going to happen here to these guys. But we decided to let O'Neill decide that fate. So roll your 3d6 to start us out.
Oh. See if I can get a Yahtzee too. Why not?
There you go.
All right, we got 1, 2, 4. So we got a 6 total.
6. Okay. I'm going to only glance at the 6. Okay. All right.
Oh God, he's laughing.
No.
Oh, no.
It just kind of fits with
Good night, everybody.
the situation. No. All right. Now, Donnie, what's your character's name?
Bethany.
Bethany. All right, Bethany. You're something is gone dreadfully wrong. You know this. You sense it. The one God is not looking favorably upon your town of Dredgewater and the surroundings, because you're atop your hut as the water is receding. There's been a massive flood. This came and knocked over trees. Trees are swept through. You've been up there for 2 days. This is what happened prior to it. The water has finally receded low, and you can see the mud is caked over everything. Trees are knocked down. The root systems are up, and it went straight around your village. Luckily, you had a stone structure for the base, and you're hoping to thatch roof holes, which it has been so far. Thankfully, your father was quite the carpenter. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it would have fell through. But nevertheless, you're up there, and you've seen the water recede, the mud go. You're hungry as all get out. You don't know what happened to any of your family members that were there. You're cold. It's been overcast and dreary ever since the flood happened. And you know, south of where your farmstead is the town of Dredgewater. And this was a massive flood. This was almost like a tsunami hitting and going there. So you worry about the town. And it's a little bit downhill from where y'all were. And it's still where y'all were at. It's still a high level. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what's your character's name, O'Neill?
Jarvis.
Jarvis. Okay. Now, go back to you, Bethany. What are you doing?
So, as I look out to the land and I see that it's starting to recede, I immediately take my necklace that is made out of hemp and just some twigs, making like a cross type thing, okay. And I, kiss it, and I do like a little cross type thing, and I'm blessed, Lord, for you are letting me go into this town. I know that's my calling. You're punishing us for something, I'm not sure, but please forgive us of our, sins. I know something must have happened, something bad. And please protect my family, but I respect your will type thing, but just give me the strength to help others and do your service.
Okay. Your stomach groans. You know that you haven't had food in a while, like I said. Mm-hmm. And you're cold. It's early morning. You've been shivering all night. And come to realize that the rain had receded by the time that, the sun is going down. I mean, the sun is coming up, which shows the receding rain, and it's almost like an answer to prayer to you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's a blessing, but she's scared, but she's so fearful of, upsetting her God. but she's in the mindset, I need to go to town, I need to help others, and I need to find my family.
Okay, so you're slipping off that thatch
Yep,
roof.
I'm jumping down,
Okay,
getting down.
your boots. I mean, you land in the mud, and they automatically just come up around your feet a little bit, but it doesn't go further than that, and you have to pull your foot out with a sucking sound and hit. So you see more of a drier patch of raised land over to the side, and you can make your way to that. Now, Jarvis, it was Jarvis, right?
Yes.
Okay, Jarvis, you are, you've, as you said, left to make your way in the world, and it looks like that way is almost washed away as you're walking toward what should be, in your mind, a town that you were told was the next one before the river, and you're looking to get a ferry to go across that river, and you were instructed to do this, and you've been on the road for a couple of days, and you're getting there, but you see the path is obscured with mud, twigs, off in the distance. Everything's pretty much cleared out, but it looks like it was a forested area, but it's literally like some kind of a sludge and a mud avalanche that has flown through and cut off this path. And you recognize, you stay right in the middle of it, this this anvil sticking up out of the mud over beside the remnants of a hut, and you see various other remnants sitting around here. This mud cake that's splashed up on, some of them are highly, and you see off in the distance, it looks like a sunken area right in the middle of this this area that was obviously cleared out to be a town. There are, it looks like, several scavengers that are digging through, and like portions of body that is coming up from the ground, and they're kind of pulling them out and pilfering and going through their, their loot, looking for things, as well as looking under pieces of rubble and whatever else. Right? You can hear them sloshing around and squashing and whatnot, but that's what's going on there. So, anything in particular?
Next time we'll see some of the scavengers, I'm gonna start yelling at them. So like, hey, what are you doing to the bodies?
Okay, they look up expectantly, in shock, but then their eyes look so like sunken, and you can tell they're emaciated, and it's like they haven't eaten. And they reluctantly, they kind of just look at you cow-eyed, and then they back up a little bit and stand up and just drop. But they look like victims of this area, they're kind of standing there looking at you and don't really know how to make a move. There's about 5 of them around in the area in different spots, but their clothing is all you can tell. They're like serfs, so you would know they're kind of their social rank. Right?
Okay. I'll just ask them if they need any help or looking.
Help. They start gathering and looking at each other, and then they excitedly start getting a little bit faster to come to you. All right. So they're running through the mud, slapping and everything like that, and then all of a sudden they're around you, and you see a couple more come out from the woods, and they're all clamoring around you and kind of clawing at you on their knees. Please help, sir. Please help. And they're grimy and everything. One of them gets elated so much and then falls over to the side in the mud. But the other ones, everybody's just looking at you. Obviously, you've got some kind of coin and food. They're yelling too, and they're almost trying to get into your bag. This look by your side, right? You're on foot right now. You don't have any kind of a mount, but that's what they're doing, and they're mudding you up like crazy, as if you hadn't been on your lower levels anyway.
Okay. Well, I'd start trying to push him back and try to clearing back so I can get some room and assess the situation and see what's going on.
Okay. They fall back dejected looking and just start weeping and crying and whatever like that, and kind of flailing and beating themselves on their knees in the mud and holding their hands out like to you. Look what has happened. We have nothing now. And yeah, the woman's wailing like crazy. Looks like there's about 7 of them still around you. Circled around you.
What happened here?
Can't you see the flood that took out the whole village? We've been here 2 days almost. I can't find my father. You know, she's a young girl. She's like that.
Where is everybody? Is there anybody left?
And then the one young boy stands up. They're here, and it runs over, and you see him latch on a hand that's half stuck in the mud. But the hand has rigor mortis on it, and he's trying to pull. I can tell it's him. Look, and he shows a mark on the inside of his arm of like a birthmark, and he's clearing it off. It's my father, and he's pulling. He's standing up and trying to pull the arm out, but to no avail. This mud and everything. He's saturated and soaked in this, in this slide that came through and tore through. Have you nothing to help us? Can you get us out of here? Take us to where you go. Can we follow?
Where's the next town?
But across the river.
Is there any boats, ferries, anything nearby?
There was, but it took the ferryman and another man on the boat with him. As he crossed, I saw it. One of them says, it washed him away. And then you look. He points over there to where the river is on the other side, kind of down an embankment. And you see the broken post and what was a rope that's still stuck on another post, and it's trailing in the water. And the water's receded somewhat, but it's still fairly high comparatively. But all the banks have been washed away too. Okay.
Is there any other ferries, boats anywhere? Downriver, upriver?
Downriver. That's where we should go. Down south of here is. I don't want to mess up the name of it. It's Lord Washburn's estate is south, maybe like a day's travel south of here. Could you take us here? We can find refuge. And then one of them says, a lot of the others headed that way.
Me.
Okay. While you're there excitedly, and you can tell they're still hungry and they're still kind of reluctantly pawing at anything. Food? Do you have anything? And some of them you see them chewing on bark and stuff that they had chipped off from the pieces of wood, and they're trying to eat that. Grains. They got pocketfuls of grass or whatever they're trying to eat. Bethany, you've been traveling southward toward that town, and really you can see for a fair distance. It's a little bit down. The going's kind of slow. You got to watch your footing as it's slippery, but it's fairly cleared out, and there's enough trees and whatever that's buried halfway into the mudslide. You can grab on and get handholds as you proceed to go down the incline to the town. And as the sun's coming up and you see more of the town, you look down there and you see this group of what looks to be villagers or other people. You're not close enough yet to determine who they are exactly, but they're around somebody that's you can tell has a nobility about him, So they're clamored around him.
So as I'm going through the town and looking, grabbing the trees and stuff, I'm also wanting to look in the mud to see if I can see animal prints as well, just because I'm hungry, so I want something to eat. So I'm kind of looking around to see and of that stuff as well.
Okay. Roll me a d20. And use your mind, whatever that is.
It is a 4. I am rolling low today, folks.
Okay.
It's a 4 if I add the 1.
Yeah, you don't see anything of any consequence. It's literally just a silt layer all the way down. It looks like it looks pretty rough. And down there, as you're going south, you look toward there's a tree that looks to be stuck out of a sphincter from hell in the middle of this area. The town was. You know that there used to be a raised dais in the center of a town where they would keep criminals in the stocks. But everything that you know of this town is all but gone. I mean, there's only very few, maybe a collapsed wall here or there laying around, but the blacksmith is gone, the Gold Leaf Inn is gone. Everything's been torn away and ripped away. And even further on down, you can see the remnants of the town that's strewn out for at least a mile onward, from your vantage point. But if you keep going down south, the ground is somewhat dried and somewhat hardened and caked with mud. So it's.
So I'm trying to find the paths, and you said I'm as I'm going, I can see this nobleman kind of being mobbed.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah, and you kind of recognize they're similar to the way you look right now.
Yeah. So I want to shout out, nobleman. It looks like you've got yourself into a conundrum.
Okay. Now, when you hear this, if you look up there, you're going to see very much the same that's already around you. Just another one coming down the hill. You know what I mean? Another. About how old is your character?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
She's like in her mid to late 20s.
Okay. All right. Now, more of a young girl coming down the hill toward you. So you can do what you may, and keep in mind that with the game, whatever action you want to do, like say toward them, O'Neill, I'll get you to roll if it's appropriate. Whether you want to intimidate them or whatever. But yeah, they're looking to be. Right now, they're still clamoring about. You can take us there. You can provide safety. You can lead us there. We will show you the way. All right. So they're essentially wanting to be pilgrims on your back, refugees to that southern town. It's about a day's walk south.
Yeah. So, these poor wretches, they're looking for some kind of hope. They're looking for food.
And Bethany, you are too. You're freaking starving. You ain't there for like 2 days.
I I can hear my stomach gurgle, and I look at him and I go, "We are all but starving." And I try to at this point kind of wedge myself between them and him, kind of pushing my way through. People, clearly God has sent him to us, but let's not bombard him. Please, he gets and understands that we're in need of food and stuff.
Bethany, is that you? And the old man's looking at you and clearing his eyes. And the younger man that spoke up earlier and tried to pull his father out runs over there, and he slings his arm around you. He's more of a child almost. All right, and you recognize him as Wilbur when he comes around you, Bethany. And then but they are starting to reluctantly back up off you, Jarvis. And
I kind of comfort him and I go, "I promise you, have I ever let you starve? I will go without before you guys go without. Just please, let's not overwhelm him. Let me talk to him."
Okay, can you roll a d20 for me right now? And use use your mind. Okay.
That's him.
Okay.
Don't ask her to use her mind.
The girl that was there anyway that first spoke up to you, Jarvis, stands up and Don't listen to her. He has something. He has money. We should take it. I'm sick of this. Okay, and she's like pushing on you backwards and turning around and then falling on her knees and just dragging herself down on you, Jarvis. Please, and she's trying to look through all your stuff. And you've never experienced anything like this. Most people do have kind of being a little bit royalty yourself, or at least noble yourself, to have this girl clamoring on you like that, this wretch. So.
Oh my. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't have anything for you, but I could maybe able to speak for you in the next town. I might be able to maybe talk to someone and help you all. I could speak with whoever's in charge, and maybe I might be able to sway them.
Okay. As y'all are doing this, what is now Bethany? When she reacts to you this way, do you just kind of let her push you back and let him address her? Is what you were doing?
I kind of let her go forward and have him deal with her. Meanwhile, I'm trying to comfort those who are still near me and trying to convince them, ease up on the guy. He just got there. Let me talk to him. Let me see what he can do for us. Let's see if I can persuade him to.
They're seeming to follow your rationale. You've kind of hooked them. She was the only one that kind of looked wild-eyed, and you can tell she's famished and wants some kind of resolution immediately. But he seems to be taking care of her as far as what's going on now.
Yeah.
Do you? She's still begging. Take us southward. If you don't have anything now, I know you can get us in the city. And she keeps pointing south and grabbing your arm and kind of pulling at you.
Well, I mean, I guess I could. I mean, I may have some sway. I might. We can only try.
Okay.
Can I look to the south? Because you said that the south seems to be clearer. Which way is more clear?
Yeah, you were north of the village, and when you approached south, you saw the washout and the mudslide had taken out the whole town. You saw about a mile further down where the mudslide still goes before it kind of beaches up against a tree, but you can see the wreckage of the town is already strewed all the way along that, and even spills out into the river some. So that river looks washed on either side, and it's still fairly high comparatively the way it usually is. But after that, you see the thick line of trees where it kind of stopped and buffeted up against that. But
where the trees are, is it thick foresty?
It's somewhat of there's a path or two there, even though it may be kind of blocked at the entrance there with all the wall of mud that's pushed up. But it doesn't look too. It's not a thick forest, It's more of King's Forest type. It's yeah. It's enough of the space where you're not going to be needing a machete.
Scurrying animals is what I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah. You're going to be able to probably find a little food there.
So I'm going to turn to little Wilbur and I go, do you remember how I taught you with just a little bit of some twigs and branches and just a smidgen of rope? And I kind of tug on his pants where he has this rope belt type thing, keeping his too big of pants on him. I go, I tell you what, if you get your friends over there, go over to those woods and start making them. You've got enough rope here to make some traps. Go ahead. I promise you, I'll be over there shortly with my bow and we'll be able to get something for you guys to eat. And just to try to get them kind of in that mindset of, okay, well, we might be able to get something from those woods.
Okay. So they're basically heading toward that direction expectedly, excitingly, and seeing the rationale behind that. So he turns around and starts pulling them. Yes, let's do what Bethany says. And it's in the same direction, basically, that the girl, Celine, is pulling on your arm to go, Jarvis. So y'all, I guess you start heading toward that as the little procession of vagabonds or pilgrims, as they are now, are heading south.
I look over at Jarvis and I kind of mouth, because I don't want to shout it out, but I kind of mouth to him like, you better have a plan before you hit this city. I can only hold them off for so long.
Okay. No, they're not being belligerent or anything. You can tell, you know all of them, Bethany. They're from a couple of the
They're
farms.
just really hungry, scared. And
Yeah, when that flood came, you was on
panic.
that little area, and it hit that side of that and washed out, and basically that mud and avalanche came through the town,
Yeah,
ripped
and
it up,
destroyed everything.
yeah, and even a little bit south of there. So if y'all are heading south in that general direction, because it all looked like that ferry's gone now. So it is early in the morning, probably about 8 o'clock right now. When you're heading south, you get closer about a mile, like I said, about a mile, when you see all the twigs and leaves and tree branches and everything just intermixing this mud pie, this mud cake that's sloshed up and pushed up against where it finally lost steam, the barrier of that wood. Roll, can both of you roll a 20 for me?
15.
Okay, can you add, well, you got it. What did you get? Can you add your mind is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
20.
You got it? You got 20?
Yeah. With my
I
mind.
got 16 because I added my mind.
Yeah.
So it's a total of
Okay.
16.
When you're there, you notice off in the woods, Jarvis, immediately you notice off in the woods. Now, 20 in this game is a critical success, all right? And off in the woods, you see the twinkling of fire. And like I said, it's more spacious woods, but a little bit off, and you hear voices clamoring. The people that are beside you have done cowed down, all right? That little explosion of excitement they had whipped them out almost, and they're just kind of plodding, going through the mud, silent, right behind you. And there's a deathly still in the air. You know, a lot of these animals have been wiped out and moved on and whatnot, especially around the immediate area. But on that silence, you hear that encampment out there of people, and it looks to be several. I would say probably about 15 people that have huddled up deeper into the wood. I would say, 60 foot or so off into it. And you can hear distinctly men and women's voices and children's. And get a little view of them. It seems that they're moving around. The clothing isn't really lit as the sun's coming out there and peeking through there, so they look very similar to the ones you're already with. All right.
Okay.
That's directly south. Directly
south. Okay.
Yeah, directly south. In your, if you was just to proceed like you are now.
Yeah. I asked, does anybody know these people? Are they?
They look up kind of doe-eyed, and you could tell the way they're moving their heads. They ain't in a while, you know. They look off and they're squinting down there, and they can't really find anything to. Maybe they're from the village too, and they kind of get hopeful, and a couple of them, hey, you there? And they start clambering up and climbing over that little area of the mud wash, the embankment, to get over it, and they're sliding on the other side, and moving on through there. Two of them already had the older man and the younger girl, Celeste. She's already over and tripping on toward that area. So, and the little boy, he's he has been holding on to your skirt basically, Bethany,
Yeah.
this whole time. So he's up on his tiptoes trying to look over and into it deeper, and he clambers up. They're moving on. Celeste seems to have a little bit more energy than the old man, obviously, and so she's in front of her, and she's running toward them. Please, we need food. We need rest. All right. So,
Guys, shh, quiet. Don't startle them. Like, I'm trying to calm them down because I don't want them to, just bombard them as well.
yeah. Okay. When y'all were standing there and you see her get in closer, you see the old man kind of stop in movement and stammer a little bit, and it looks like he's looking, and Celeste has run on freely. And she goes up into the midst of them, and off in the distance you can hear there's a couple of men that, like 3 of them, that walked out toward her to find out the sound and when she was coming. And when she come in, they kind of surround her and, well, look at you. What do we have here? You hear on the wind, O'Neill. Something about your senses don't really detect, In fact, give me a roll just for the heck of it. Use spirit if you have to. And Donna, you can do the same. All right.
18.
18.
Six.
Okay. Now, Donnie, you recognize that something doesn't feel. It feels more of an evil presence from these men. Not the whole thing, but kind of, just the whole thing don't seem right, basically. They don't seem like good, godly people, basically. And so in your mind, you're wondering what went on here, what happened.
Yeah.
And anyway, draw your own conclusions on that, as far as why this flood would take out this town. But nevertheless, you see the 3 you're so perceptive with this, O'Neill. You're peeking. The old man turns around on his heel and he starts clambering back, and they're like, hey, old man, where you going? And they're like grabbing onto the girl, and she's turning which way. First she's excited, and then all of a sudden she starts, because she's getting groped, and then she's trying to pull away, right? And the old man's already started, and the one guy don't really want to leave the current situation. Go get him. No, you go get him. And then so one of them finally breaks off, and you see this, and he's chasing down the old man, okay? Old man, stop. All right? Now, old man's now y'all are still there.
Yeah.
Behind that area. So there's a little embankment coming up, and you're kind of looking over. But O'Neill, you see this. All right. The old man, he's running, and all of a sudden his head goes back like that, and then he falls forward and he splays out, and there is a knife in the base of his neck when he's like that. And the other guy walks up and grabs it that has thrown it and pulls it out, wipes it on him, and it starts flipping the old man over, looking for change and looking for stuff. All right. So he's no more than like 30, 20 foot away from you.
So I want to pop up, because he's already killed the old man, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, the old man's still twitching, but he's dead.
So I want to pop up, and I'm like, Lord, I know you tell us not to kill. Please forgive me. And I pull my arrow back, and I just fire and scream out, haven't you heard of thou shalt not kill? And just release it at him.
Okay, roll your dice, because he's got his hands going through your old boy's pockets.
18.
What little
That's what I
pockets
rolled.
he has. Okay, he looks at you. He looks at you wide-eyed. Okay, like first he's like, when he hears a voice, it's unexpected. He pops his head up and he's looking, and all of a sudden his eyes dilate. He's putting 2 and 2 together. Sees you stand up and say that, and then that arrow just flies straight at him. All right, hits him directly, like right in the solar plexus, and he spins and he looks down, sways a little bit, and the grain that old boy had in his hand or in his pocket that he pulled out sifts through his fingers, and he just drops and falls right in front of you. Okay, as he drops, you can see the other two taking the girl off into the side, kicking and screaming. They've already kind of picked their legs up, so they're going off the side. They were a little bit closer into y'all than the rest of the party, but you still see the fire going and kids moving around. They seem to be having a little bit more energy than these docile cows that are following you right now.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyway.
I want to go over to the guy who I just killed and try to take that arrow out. And as I do it, I kind of want to try to close his eyes, and I'm starting to weep. And I'm like, please forgive me. I know what I done was wrong. Please, but it was just needed for, like, I'm talking to God.
Oh, yeah.
Like, thing.
No,
like,
that's right. And when you look at him, I guess, flip him over. If you're retrieving the arrow, that might be a thing.
Yeah, I'm taking the arrow back.
I'm going to roll, and the arrow's good. All right?
Awesome.
So it wasn't broke.
Awesome.
You put that in, but you hear the gurgle and splosh as the blood flies out a little bit, and it comes up in his eye. He rolls up. He's still wide-eyed, but he's trying to say something, but it's not coming out. His mouth is already full of blood, and it's coming out. So you drop him back down. All right? He spasms a little bit and then dies on the thing, but you hear that Celeste calling out. All right? Help, and they're kind of gagging her and muffle her a little bit and take her off the main path into the side. So it looks like they're going to have some kind of extracurricular activity, or at least.
Yeah, I turn to Jarvis and I go, I know I've gotten myself into this. You can follow me or you can go on your way. But either way, I thank you for what you have helped so far. And I just start turning and going into the path and looking in the mud for their footsteps. I'm trying to follow.
Yeah, well, cool. Well, Jarvis, while this is going on, and you saw she shot down and she jumped over, and the little boy, he's climbed up and he's seeing it, and everybody's trying to go over your shoulder. What's going on? Because you're right there, and all of a sudden they're leaning in, and they're hearing the girl muffle, and is that Celeste? What's going on? And they're starting to clamber up and go over the side, right, to see and get a better view of it. So, and they're getting a little bit more vocal.
Oh, okay.
So,
I just check off the situation, and I'm like, what? Like, and just pull my sword, and I start just chasing after the two men who've taken Celeste.
Okay, you hear as you're jumping over that embankment, and everybody behind you is going into the women that were there, and the little kids, kind of weeping or whatever, and they crawling back. Dangerous. All of a sudden, they kind of put two and two together. You've realized that you're going to protect them now, so you can hear them almost or sense them clumping together right behind that little thing and sinking low and turtling up as you kick off down that path. All right, so you're down there. Like I said, they were about 60 down there. So in a little while, when you get down there, Bethany, you were heading that direction too, right?
Yes, I was trying to follow their footprints because I know that they got farther down than us when I was praying. So I'm trying to follow their footprints.
Oh, they just went immediately where they stopped with her. They just immediately went off the trail to go into the little hidden space. And beyond them a little bit, probably about 20, not so far beyond, but is that a little encampment with the fire going and everything, right? So in that clearing. And you're right behind her, Jarvis. Bethany, what you do is when you get down there, you can see a little bit where the struggle is, but more so than see, you can hear it off into the side, okay? Off into the side, there's a little embankment, and it goes down a little thing. There's some trees there, and it's almost like a little sunken area inside of a half-rotted tree that you hear the girl struggling right there. Go ahead, take it off. Do it right now. Me first. Okay, that's what you're kind of hearing off the side. Okay, so Jarvis, you're running. Like I said, you're not trying to be quiet. Did you hear that? All right, and you heard it too, Bethany, because you see Jarvis hot-footing it right in to him, and you're kind of just trying to peer over and see what's going on. You know what I mean? Even though you're getting the picture, but you hear one of them immediately just, "What's that?" And then they both stop, and you hear them muffle the girl up. All right, so Jarvis, what are you doing? Bethany, what are you doing?
I want to kind of speak up right away, and I shout out, God's punishing us right now. So are you going to commit more sins? You're just damning your soul. So why don't you just walk away before you end up being like your friend? I'm giving you an out.
Walk away? We'll walk away when we've had our fun.
And I just kind of look back.
She is, and then you can hear one of them trying to saddle himself back up and cover himself back up because he was half disrobed. And you see, Celeste, you can see her right now. She's already laid to the side, and her hair's a mess with crying. She's already muddied up anyway from being that way. And she was trying to fight him and push him away, but now she's just sobbing, laying there in the grass in the side of the mold of that tree, right? So one of them's trying to straighten himself up. The other one, he was looking at you. He's looking at you with, he's missing several teeth. And he's got some kind of mismatched pieces of armor on. You can tell almost like he's more of a bandit or thug.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Both of them are, all right? As well as match the same guy you took out earlier, all right? So that's what you see. Both of them are right down that little, no more than like 7 foot down in that little area because it dipped down. And you're looking right at them.
Yeah, I turned to real quick to look back to see if Jarvis is behind me, and I just kind of look at him, and I'm just like, I am sorry for what I'm about to pull you into.
Okay. Jarvis, you were running, and you're pretty much right up on the scene right now. And to get this, when y'all were running down there, you was running south, they went off the road to the left side and ditched in there. So you see her, and she's standing, and she's looking into that little ditch area or ravine, and those guys are down there. You can hear them talking, especially when old boy, like that. Obviously, the noise he heard, he's thinking only of her. But right now, at this point in time, Bethany, you see him kind of look expectantly at the new noise that's coming in. Like he's putting two and two together, okay? You can just kind of see this over his face, all right? So, anyway, you're right up on him right now, Jarvis. You enter the immediate scene, and he sees you, all right? All right. He's already pulled his dagger out, and y'all better watch yourselves. And he notices you're dressed like you are. I want you to roll just from your presence. He's obviously not respectful of any kind of holy, talk. But he seems to be kind of keen on. Roll for your prestige. Just a D20. Oh, I need to tell you what you got to beat, so we know how to do that, okay? Because guys got to forgive me. I've been doing this for so long. I just immediately know the CV number in my head. And y'all sitting there going like, "What are you rolling against?"
Yeah.
But anyway, what you're rolling against is a 10. All right. So you got to beat a 10.
Is that for her or me?
That's for you, Jarvis.
Okay.
Because he sees you, and
all right. With prestige, you said that'd be 18.
Wait a second, guys. My volume. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
I accidentally hit the mute button on my keyboard. Like, what happened? But anyway, like I said, he was looking at Bethany, and he thought all the commotion was from one person. Then he sees you slide into there. He's like, "What the crap?" But he takes a step back when he sees you. All right. So, what'd you roll on that die?
I said with the prestige, it'd be 18 total.
Oh shoot! Yeah, he's double backing. He's grabbing hold of his buddy who was finally dressed himself, and they're backing up right now. And then they take tearing off through the woods. All right, so you can do whatever you want to do right now, but she's laying on the ground crying. Okay.
That's right. You better run if you know what's good for you.
Okay. They take off, and you hear them shuffling through there and trying to weave their way through the underbrush. You can still see them fairly well. You know, it's not so thick, but they're zigzagging off, and it looks like away from the encampment, because the encampment's to your right, but they're still running westwardly. Okay, so but anyway,
I turn to the girl who's crying, and I am just like have a look of annoyance on her, and I go, "Stupid girl, don't you know you shouldn't take off and running? Like I told you, you need to take your time, be cautious, be more like yourself, not just like a loose end." Like I'm scolding her for being too.
Yeah. Okay. She's laying there, and she's obviously been humiliated right now and in front of both of y'all, and she's just sobbing uncontrollably, and keeps on repeating, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." You know what I mean? And there's leaves all in her hair, and she's laying there, and half the clothing is halfway pulled down around her. She's trying to readdress it. But anyway, she's reluctant to get up, but if you want to help her up and
I jump down there, and I'm kind of hoisting her up and getting her up and getting her on the path to go back to where the others are.
Okay. When you get right off the path, she just walks on the path. No more than like 20 yards away, you see that encampment a lot clearer than you did before. Okay. There's it looks like there's some people that you may roll your mind, Donnie, and let's see if you can beat
17.
Let's see, you beat it. You beat it. You was only trying to beat it up 15. So Jason's like, you got to tell them where they try to get. I'm like, who gives a anyway? Yeah, you're trying to beat that. You do notice a couple of people from the village that are in there. All right, you didn't recognize those guys, but you do recognize people from the village that are one of them would deal in the market with the trade.
Yeah.
For you, okay. You see him sitting over there, dejected on a log. There seems to be kind of a mismatch of various people. You see two people, and one of them is the lady that ran the Blackleaf Inn. All right, so she's there and he's there, and that's the only people you're kind of seeing right now. And the rest of them look to be, there's a couple more that look to be peasants or refugees that you don't know of, and there looks to be a couple of people that look to be merchants, traveling merchants. There's somebody that has an instrument, and he's over there playing it, and the little kids are running around the fire dancing and everything. All right. So while he's playing it, so you hear the music going on.
So the people who I know, I want to go up to them, and I'm like, "Are you okay? Is your loved ones with you? Have you seen my family?"
Okay, when you're doing that, they're looking at you. Obviously, they're doe-eyed. They're sitting there eating a little bit of stuff. It's like somebody was walking around passing out. The person actually that was that would deal with you, it looks like he has a bag of grain that he was sitting there, and he's passing it out to the people. They got him along. He's kind of helping feed people, and they're taking his hand of grain and they're eating it. But he managed to save something from his storehouse. Okay, so they got a little bit of life in them, and when he sees you, it takes a moment of recognition. It's good to see you, Bethany. We thought everybody was gone. It's been horrible. He wiped out the whole town. But you know, of course, is it just you? And then he sees you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I immediately say, there's like 7 of us back there.
Okay. Well,
And I
probably
say,
6 now.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Bring them forward. I've got food for them. I know they're hungry. They have to be.
I turn to Jarvis and I go, here, you please get something to eat. You have helped us tremendously. I will go get the others. And I go back to get the others while I present him forward.
Okay. I love his freaking sea chart. Anyway, just gotta say that. Anyway,
Oh no!
sorry. Wait.
No!
No, it just makes so much sense. Like I love these things because when you roll them, you go, "Oh, that just works perfect." That just ties in like a freaking tapestry. Anyway, so you going back to get the rest of them, Jarvis?
Yeah.
And,
Well, I'm going back.
Yeah.
I pushed him forward to get food. I
to
said
get
I would
food.
go back.
you're going
Yeah,
back, Bethany.
I'm going to go back to get them.
Okay, you see them and they're stone cold, fearful, right?
Mhm.
And they look at you and they go, "What has the Lord wrought? What happened there? The man is dead. Jacob is dead." All right. So and you passed him on the way up, the old man too.
Yeah.
So
So
they're huddled all grouped together.
Yeah, I'm trying to calm them down. I'm like, I found some food for us. Let's go. Let's get some warmth.
The little
You know.
boy jumps up, "Praise be," and he grabs a hold of your legs and he's holding on tight, okay? And then he actually stops. He's your little helper now. He's
Yeah.
trying to get the other ones to come. She's found his food and he's eager now. He's got a burst of energy. So he's helping the rest of them get up and they're kind of following you reluctantly and kind of peeking over at the scene in front of them, the carnage that was there. And you help them and you help the older lady. She has, over the twigs and getting over, and the rest of them. They stay a wide berth of around that area and kind of hide their eyes from it, taking little short glances as you go past and lead them past. When you get back to the area, unless you want to do something else in the meantime, they reluctantly go and go around Mikhail, which is passing out the food, and he starts giving them, and he's almost like a fatherly figure to them right now, the way it looks to you. So he's feeding them and everything, and you see their eyes darting around to the other people, and the minstrel's walking around, and he's playing thing, and the kids are dancing. Now, I want you to you both to roll mine, and you're trying to beat. Dang it! You're trying to beat a 14.
All right. You said add mine. I got just a 14. So do I have to get higher or equal to?
No, you get equal or.
Okay. Okay. So it is a 14.
What'd you get, a 1?
Oh man, I got a 7.
I rolled a 1 for that old man trying to escape. You got to say it didn't work out for him.
No, guess not.
Okay. No, you, Bethany, notice something. You're smiling. The lights dancing. The kids are kind of laughing. He's playing a nice tune. You're almost, and I know I'm adding this to your character, but it's kind of like a relief to be.
Yes.
You got these people, and God's smiling on you for right now. So obviously, maybe you feel, And
Yeah.
you look up, and then you catch something on the side of this minstrel's face as he's playing, and he turns around and says, "More listeners, come to me, Valdine." And another player stands up that was across there, and he starts breaking out something looks like a little cello, or not a full cello, but like a mandolin or something. He's playing it, okay, a harpsichord, some kind of an instrument that you've never seen. So old boy's playing, and another one gets up with a flute, and another one has two drums. They're dressed really. You've seen this, maybe some minstrels come through Jarvis, through areas and play for coin and do whatever, right? But what you've noticed, Bethany, is this guy that said that when he turned around and in the light you caught it, there was a lesion on the side of his face and a boil on his lip. And you recognize that from when you were a child.
Mm-hmm.
And it had came up on a family member one day, and they actually they died. They had to be put out though because it's a contagious disease of some sort, and you could hear it kept you up at nights because they kept away from the immediate family, and you could hear your grandmother wailing off in the distance as had her in a little shed out there until she wailed no more and they buried her. But they didn't know, y'all didn't know how to deal with it or whatever. But that it strikes you that you've seen that before because those lesions and boils starting to build up on them. All right. And when you look around, you notice, because you're so keen on it, you notice the other players, the other minstrels have this too.
I want to call the children back towards me immediately. I'm like, children, come.
Okay.
And
they kind
I
of look
want
at
to
you
turn
and
to,
roll that dice to see what to do because they're pretty happy, especially with all these minstrels popping up. And it's a full-blown band now.
and I'm kind of looking at Jarvis like, I need to talk to you, like, come hither type thing. Woohoo! 20!
Good. And I'm sorry, you needed to beat a 10. Dang it. Dang, I hate doing that crap after the fact. All right, you got a 20 that's critical success. They stop and look at you, and you notice them as around the village. They've obviously looked at you as more. You've taken on more of a motherly role or whatever like that, and they balk at being, maybe they're not, they're doing something wrong or whatever, and they don't want to get. So they run back and look at you expectantly, like, what we weren't doing anything, and kind of go around you. And the little boy's there with you too, that was there earlier. I forget his name. But nevertheless, they get behind you.
So I kind of want, do I see any, like, woods or trees or anything near where we're at?
Yeah, around you. You're more of in a clearing in this forest.
Yeah, so I want them kind of away from this group as possible. So I tell them, hey, you remember how I taught you guys how to go gather in the woods and get berries and stuff? Wouldn't it be great if we go and, as a thank you gift to Jarvis for helping us, we go and get him some berries and some flowers as a present? The nobleman, the guy who's helping us.
The nobleman. And then they look around and they catch first glimpse of you, Jarvis. All right. Yes, we'll go get berries. And they run off.
Go in the woods. Yeah, so I want them away.
Yeah, they run off and get the berries, okay?
What? Berries? What?
They're looking for bushes and whatever. You see them like kids looking for Easter eggs, just running around and rummaging through stuff out there.
And I look at Jarvis and I'm like, look at those minstrels. They've got, like, the plague. And I point out to them and I'm like trying to casually do, like, look here, not trying to be obvious.
What do we do?
We've got to get out of here and we've got to get the kids safe, because if we stay here, I'm afraid that my loved ones are going to die. And I can't leave the kids here in good faith.
Well, I mean, what do we tell everybody? I mean, just we tell them what's going on, or do we just...
The minstrels are still playing and they're going around, and you see a boy walk over there, and one of them have a little cup, and he pours some grain in the cup, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of them are sitting around kind of clapping and whatever, and everybody's getting a little bit of festive. You can tell the relief off their face because they've got food now and they got whatever, or at least some entertainment for the meantime.
I just feel driven to protect the kids. I'm afraid if we say something, we might start a panic. And I think at this point, if we can get the kids in a safe spot and I have them looking for food, we can I've taught these kids how to scavenge in the woods. If we can get them at least to a safe place until these people move on.
Well, can we just ask them to leave? I mean, surely we could.
I mean, you could try to say, hey, you guys leave. But my worry is, as contagious as this is, it's going to stay, it could potentially have already spread to these others who have been here. It doesn't take much. I've lost
It took about 6 days that you remember staying up at night here in your grandma's well, and it was painful.
This is a conundrum. I don't want to start a panic, but these people should know.
Listen, if it's their time and God has chosen their time, that it's on them. But I feel really deep in my soul to protect these kids.
As you wish, I guess. I mean, the children are important, but I just don't see how we're going to get these people to leave.
Then we need to leave. Then we need to leave and take the kids with us.
Do you know the way to the next town?
It's south from here. I know we could make our way around through the woods and head out a little ways. It might be taking us a day or two off the normal straight through path, but it means that we can avoid these people.
It's about 5 or 6 miles, and y'all are about a mile south of the town right now.
Okay.
So you're looking at maybe a day's walk, not including the night. I ain't talking about 24-hour period. So if you pushed it, you could get there nightfall.
If it must be done, then it must be done. I will gladly help you.
Thank you. So I turn and I tried to find where the kids are at and kind of like, kids, come on. We're going to go ahead and move on out. Do you got the berries type thing?
Okay. They run back and they've got the little scoops up on their clothing and the little tunics and and you see a paltry amount of berries in there. You know what I mean? But they're each one of them is like a delight, and they're coming up to you, offering like in their finger like a berry on its little stem to you, Jarvis, and their little shining eyes are all lit up or whatever. You do see the merchants we're sitting around there. There's actually a horse over to the side, or more like a mule, all right, a half breed, and it's loaded down with some packs of something, and they toss some copper pennies as the musicians go around into the musicians thing. They seem to be enjoying it too, and everybody's kind of taken up with this. Now, so like I said, there's like 5 kids in this brood right now. The people that y'all brought in there, the 6 people, are still sitting around. Well, it's 5. The kid was one of them, but the 5 people are still sitting around there, and they're eating hungrily from all the grain and everything that my boys fed them. So, are y'all going to slip off right now?
That may be best.
Yeah, okay. I think it's best.
You recede off into the thing, and they seem to be taken with the entertainment. Kids will run off to play, and y'all head south. And where are we going? The kids are asking you.
We're going to find shelter and we're gonna find a new place to live.
A new place to live. This is wonderful. What about the rest? Should they come too? And one of them starts to turn to go get them.
No. Come here. Hey, look at me. They have to stay. They have to stay.
Okay. Okay, he looks at you kind of unknowingly and okay, and puts his hand back, into your hand and whatever. And they kind of just hopping, swinging, and going along. And
I just whisper, kind of mumble a prayer as I'm looking Jarvis and I'm like, Lord, please forgive me for lying. Please guide me in the right path. Just like that.
Okay. Y'all travel south. The music is fading in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And you travel south along the like I said, it's not too thick that you need a machete to get through there or any kind of thing. You're not whacking it with your sword. Mm-hmm. But it's rather pleasant the further south you go. About maybe 2 miles in, the more you start to hear some wildlife moving around. You know what I mean? And see a rabbit scoot here or there. Mm-hmm. You arrive at Baron Washburn's town. It is a town. There are hordes of refugees around the area, around the bay, around the outside of the town. It's palisaded up. You can tell on the inside, it's quite vast, a lot bigger than Dredgewater. Mm-hmm. And this is more of a legit town. So when you're walking in there, the refugees are all piled up in tents and shanties and lean-tos that are all up against the outside walls. And there seems to be 2 guards at the door, mm-hmm. At the gate, at the main gate. So, but other than that, that's what's going on. They're just hoarded around there. Some of them moving, some of them, trying to stay alive. Looks like a lot of them just like that, hollow-eyed, expressionless, trying to look for food and raising their hands out while they're sitting there, crumpled and bow-legged on the ground, looking for some kind of coin or food, reaching out to you. Don't get too close to them, otherwise they'll,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing. It's a dirty, filthy rat hole on the outside. But it sounds fairly lively. As you're going in, there is a well, I don't know if you're going in, but there was a man and a woman leaving, or a man and a little girl leaving the gate right now, and traveling to the west. And the refugees are there, and the 2 guards are kind of standing there gigging each other and talking. You can see them kind of harassing the people, the refugees that are nearest them, just out of sport and out of boredom, mm-hmm. basically,
Yeah, I turned to Jarvis and I'm like, what do you think?
Maybe I can go. Maybe I can need to talk to somebody who's in charge. I don't know. Maybe I can get granted a favor or something.
I think that's best. We can wait over here while you go and take care of it, and I'll kind of get the kids kind of focused on not getting too distracted elsewhere.
Okay, so you're going to stay on the outside of the city gate right now with the kids?
Yeah, kind of distancing myself from everyone,
okay.
Keeping us together because I don't know who all might have something. And I'm kind of looking around observing to see if I see even someone might perceive as a doctor or something like that.
Yeah. Like Jarvis, the 2 at the gate are busy. You can tell they're guards, more on the lower spectrum. They just get guard duty and guarding the gate. But there's a lot of refugees here, and they're picking up little mud cakes or whatever like that and throwing them at the people and laughing and whatever. Yeah, come on, old man. Come on over and do what you think you want to take me on, and then they'll laugh or whatever like that and take a swig of some ale that he's got pocketed.
Okay.
So that's what you're seeing. But through the city gate, you can see that it's open in between. There's not like no door they can open. They're just checking people.
Yeah. I'll just keep walking up to them.
Okay. Whenever they take notice of you, kind of surprisingly, because they were busy tormenting the peasantry, and he sees you. And roll a 20 right now against. Try to beat a 12. All right. Use your prestige if you got it.
13.
There you go. Dang. Miracles happen. Well, they kind of straightened up, and the other one's touching his buddy. Hey, yes, sir. I don't know if they're taking you as a guard or taking you, I mean, as, a commander
Yeah.
or whatever, but they straighten up and, right through here, sir. We've got this rabble in control.
These people need attention. Their town was destroyed. What is going on here?
Yes, sir. Lord Washburn, I'm sure will take care of that. We're just to guard. He's inside if you need to speak with him. I know it's a lot of rabble. There's processes. I'm sure you understand.
Well, where is the Lord? Let me speak with him immediately.
He's inside the main. You can't miss the main hall. It's inside.
Yes, I'll gladly go talk to him.
Okay. So you walk in this place. You can tell that it's basically the streets are more hardened land than it seems like the mud that for some reason was on the outside. There's no moat around the place, just a bunch of rabble. But in a way, it's almost like stepping into a different feeling as you step in. Everything's a little bit cleaned up, but there seems to be less going on in your immediate area and more attention into the center of town. That's right to the right of you, to the left of you. You see a little the hall that old boy was referring to. The center of the town, which you can literally see. You can probably see a good halfway into the town from your vantage point. It is obscured by buildings or whatnot. And the hall is the main building in the center that kind of raises above the rest of them. But to the right, there's a horde of people, and it looks to be some people are in the stocks, several people, and you can hear things going on, and they're throwing food. Glorious food that you wouldn't waste, that the rabble could possibly eat, and throwing and pelting the people with it, rotten tomatoes and whatnot. And there's men inside there, and some of them's just hanging kind of limp. And one of them, you could tell they have similar. One of them in particular is dressed in more finery, and he seems to be the center of attention, and they're putting him in the stocks now. As a matter of fact, they're leaning him down, but you can tell he's got colored clothing. Like I said, the peasants all wear brown or black or whatever like that, but this guy is more of a nobleman. And he seems to be an older man, probably about, what you'd reckon, 40, 42 years old, 45, maybe somewhere around that. That's a rarity in itself. But you see that, and he's being pushed down by some less than regal personages. They're just putting him down, and they're shackling him down, and you tell by looking at them, they're not part of the court. They're not part of, like, they don't have any insignia that seems to be of this town. They seem to be foreign, as far as you can, because there is a couple of not tapestries, but standards hanging, and something isn't jiving with what the scene here. And they're whipping up the crowd. This man, he's kept you in bondage for too long. We've unseated him. Come, watch. And they shove him down in there and clasp it down and hold down. And one of them gets in front of him and slaps his face. And he looks stoic. He's just kind of like when he's standing there looking at the crowd. And they slam him down in there. They stab his face, and then one piece of food comes and flies. But the crowd was really quiet. And you see various ones, because they're wearing this type of uniform armor amongst them. It's almost like a black, dark brownish black tan leather armor with pieces of armory on it, piece of metal on it, basically. So you can kind of tell that they're standing amongst on the outside of this crowd.
Yeah.
And they're armored, but the crowd isn't. So one of them gigs one of the guys in the crowd, and he reluctantly, you see him pick up a tomato and he throws it, and it smacks old boy right beside him. And then the crowd starts to stir a little bit, and then more tomatoes and more rotted food and slop, and everybody just starts going. And then the guy that was on the dais, the two guys that put him down there, start laughing and step back. And look how your people love you, Lord Washburn.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it seems like the people of the city are really getting into it right now.
Yeah. Okay. I approach the crowd and towards the men. What is going on here?
Now, who are you talking to exactly?
One
of these.
These men. Why is the Lord Washburn in these shackles?
Lord Washburn is no longer the lord of this keep. We have unseated him. These people are ours. And then he slaps one of them on the back of the head. Throw hardy. And that person kind of throws. You can tell these people really aren't like peasants, but they're town folk, you know. But the people around them, there's a whole crew of probably about 20 guys that you can count when you just scan of the two that were standing up there that are similarly dressed. And anyway, they're egging them on, but they're all in there, and the rest of the town's kind of silent. Give him. You throw too. And he clasps you on the arm. If you know what's good for you.
If you know what's good for you, take your hand off me.
We got a live one here. And he looks over at the other guy. And the other guy that was not too far away from you, like 10 foot on the other side, kind of giggling the crowd or whatever. He turns around and looks. He goes, oh, a noble one, he thinks he is. And he walks over there, and they're both kind of like thugs pulling up on you right there. But they've left their attention off the crowd for the moment. All right? What have you got there? Nice sword, and they start almost circling you like sharks, okay? So standing on the edge of it. And y'all are behind the crowd as this is happening. All right? The crowd's caught up into this thing where they're pelting Lord Washburn.
Okay. I reach for my sword.
And he takes out his short sword, all right? And he starts backing up, and then both of them are spinning around you, and they kind of bump into the crowd, you know what I mean? And some of the crowd turns around to get what's going on, so to see what's going on, and they kind of back up. So you're almost like a cyclone spilling into the crowd a little bit, just a little depth, and the crowd's kind of moving out and looking, and they've stopped. Portion of the crowd have stopped their attention on the Washburn, and all of them's kind of turning on you. And then, what's this? From the dais up there. And then the old boy jumps off the dais, and you hear him walking and creaking, and he jumps down, walks around. What do we have here? We got we got one that wants to upsert you, Merrick. And the guy walks down or whatever like that. So what's your name, good sir?
My name is Jarvis.
Jarvis, where do you be from? Speak quickly now. You want to keep your neck.
It doesn't matter where I'm from. Does it? Does it really matter?
Matters all too much. Take him. He says like that as he steps back, and the other two come in on you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you pulled your sword?
Yes.
Okay.
I do have a shield too, so.
Okay. So you got your shield and sword?
Yeah, it's kind of.
Okay.
Oh.
So when he says take him, the crowd kind of dispels, and too near you. The other ones, you could feel that the other people are coming, the other part of this group, whoever they are, that was kind of hemming in this crowd too, are breaking away and coming back up. But the two that were immediately around you come in at you. I need you to roll me a D6, a D20, and you're facing two of them right now, and you're trying to beat a 12. Okay, so you can add your body to that.
I got a 10.
A 10. Okay. Now the way this goes back and forth in combat or in dialogue or anything is when you roll that dice, if it hits on your side, it's in your favor because this is melee, whichever way, and if it hits in their favor, that means it strikes you. Right? So whenever they go in at, you maybe backhand the one, and then the other slips in the side and grazes you, and you feel a pinch in your side as the tip of the sword bites into you. All right?
Okay.
So take off one wound right now.
All right.
All right. Taste that. He spills his blood. The day has just begun. They're circling you. Okay. Now, I'll say this, Donna, you're still on the outside. You're clueless about what's going on here.
Correct. I was looking around to see if I could find a doctor, like if I could see a doctor.
Okay. Out here, you might find a witch doctor or somebody like that, but you do see. Roll a mind for me right now.
It's an 8.
It's an 8. Okay. You don't see nothing but a rabble. You see more people begging. There are person too. But everybody's just wandering around. Don't know what they're going to do. It's a hope of it's a feeling of utter desperation in this situation. So that's what you're seeing. Even it's like it encompasses this whole wall, or at least the front half of it, all the way and spills out. And you could tell a lot of these from the outlying towns north of this little city area have ran south because of this massive flood that occurred. But you don't see, y'all still have a little bit of berries if you want to mess with that or anything.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
I will point out to you, Don, just so you'll know, but you do have a spirit, so you can attempt anything if you got spirit to try to do some kind of prayer or some kind of healing, and they can manifest. So.
Okay. I want to, can I tell or sense about how long he's been gone, which direction, just from when I was looking around for the doctor? Because with that many people, I'm just kind of feeling on edge with the kids there. So I'm trying to see if there's a way I can get the kids in a safer environment.
Yeah, there hasn't been, while you're doing this, there hasn't been really any much time at all this transpired. So you're actually in the process of looking for the doctor and scanning as all this crap is going on.
Yeah.
So by that time you get to the point of wanting to get them somewhere, I'll kind of cue you into where that is. But if you can, whenever your mindset gets there, we'll roll to see if you hear any of the commotion or what's going on, right?
Yep.
So anyway, back to you real quick. Jarvis, roll again.
Dang. 9.
You see another man come around, and he adds to the fun of it all. Okay. Another one. They're like pin pricking you. It's almost,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of a fish in the barrel thing. There's a lot of them around you. You're trying to block with your sword, but you block one of them off and hit the other one, and now the third one that just ran up sticks you again. Take up another wound and roll again.
Come on. Okay, 16.
16. Now, you're obviously tired of this. Okay, so explain to me how you do what you do with that hit.
Okay.
And for the purpose of this, we can. One thing I do love about the 4th edition is the mob rules.
Mm-hmm.
This is what this kind of simulates. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what do you do to dispatch this one person?
Just out of sheer frustration and just exhaustion, and just kind of just lash out and just begin to just beat him silly with this. Just keep beating and beating him with the shield, just hitting.
Okay, you beat him down, and you're moving him so much so that the other two seem to be kind of, they don't want to get caught in wild mad swings, and they're waiting for it. But you're pummeling this guy down, and when you remove that shield and pull it back, he's got a bloody nose. He's out. His head's to the side, dust and dirt all over him. All right, and you pull that back up, you can hear his nose, and the front of your shield has that little blot of blood on it. As you swing back around and face off the other two, and I said, "Get him!" Merrick says. "Don't let this buffoon take you." All right, and the crowd, you can hear almost mumbling through the crowd is what's going on. Okay, there's 2 more that jump down real quick and run over there to Merrick's head. And the crowd, you almost feel like the crowd expanding a little bit inside the confines that they were. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And some more mumbling. But you're in a battle rage right now. So roll me another one. All right. There's 4 up around you right now. What'd you get?
21.
21.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when the other 2 run up and when you swing around in that battle rage, like I said, if you pound him, you swing around, you've seen that they had taken kind of a step back and they're waiting for some way to jab at you. All they've got is more like just the short swords, basically, on them. Crowd control. So, what do you do with that 21?
Just, as I'm getting back, I'm going to take my sword and just kind of swing at the first person I can get a hold of.
Yeah. And, listen, that's, when you do that, when you swing, obviously maybe you cut straight into him. And see, a 20 is a double success, okay? Now, I translate this for game things into, I've always used like on a scale, like how effective something is. But whenever you cleave into him, if it's all right, his head tears loose from his body and flips through the air. And you don't die when somebody cuts off your head, not immediately. But it lands and rolls right in front of the crowd. And it's like that. His eyes are looking around, okay? And the crowd's stepping back like that. And he's trying to breathe, but he's got no lungs. He's got no anything. And then you just they see the light fade out of his eyes as they're stepping back while this bowling ball of a head is rolling into their midst. You know what I mean? So it almost clears a path. And then you feel this urge or whatever, and they start going, more voices start raising up. Now, roll the dice again. Now, at this time, roll it one more time, Jarvis.
I got 12.
12. Okay, that is a hit. It's 12 or above, okay? So, this other person, you had 4 around you.
Mhm.
And now the other two from either side are having to push through the crowd. It's already dispersed so much, right? It was
Mhm.
like in a net, but you hear them running through there, and they're running up on it. And what do you do to take this other guy out?
So swing back. I'll swing back with my shield. Slam it. Just kind of slam it right into him. Drive the sword.
Oh, geez.
Let it follow.
Like cleave it all the way down to his jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an image. The one when their head's rolling like that and the people are like that, and you turn around and smack old boy, smack, and cleave it while you're pulling loose, and his body's just dropping behind that shield. At this point, Bethany, you hear an uproar from the crowd on the inside. It's audible from outside from where you're standing. No check, no rolls or whatever. So you're bending down looking, trying to find, are you a doctor? Are you whatever? And then all of a sudden, whoa, and you're near the gate. Automatically, you're going to kind of just look up for the sound. And you hear through that, and you see a lot of commotion off in the distance there. Okay? And can you roll with your mind right now? Okay, you're trying to beat a 12.
All right, I got a 7. I told you.
A 7? Okay, you can't. The crowd's too. The din of the crowd and the crowd's too thick and looking through. The guard at the gate who's already leaning over and looking inside to see what's going on. He's blocking your view. Yeah, but you can tell something's going on in there. All right. So back to you, Jarvis. You just smack this dude and he drops and you pull it through and you hear this crowd erupts. All right. So there are things being thrown right now, and not necessarily at you. All right. So anyway, roll one more time.
Or 9.
9. Okay, this uproar, it startles you for a second, I guess, and then another guy, because you still got, there's 2 more that ran up. You've dispatched 3. There's 3 of the 7. There's still 4 around you, as not even counting Merrick that's over to the side. This one. Get him! I said get back! And he's like this is some tomatoes are coming at him now, right? And the other ones too. So while they're being flung, you feel you got stuck over to the side, but the crowd's already erupted. All right, so roll that dice again.
So do you take it?
Yeah, you
take
take a wound.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see, we get a 12.
The 12? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that is another hit. Like I said, you had 4 around you and Merrick's still there. You're cleaving through them. How do you do this other one?
It's the same one that stuck me.
Yeah.
Okay.
He definitely got your attention there, I guess.
Yeah. In reaction, I'll just, basically come back in with the sword and just kind of try to jab at him.
Yeah. Grab a hold of his sword and use it as a...
Yeah.
Okay,
Something
so
like that.
you're counter jabbing like that, and you just stick him a few times briefly through it as it sinks through the black leather, and then when it pulls out, you see the blood drip, and he staggers and falls down on his knees and flops over. And roll one more time. Now the crowd's already, you at the corner of your eye or whatever. Merritt's kind of thrown up. Now, Donnie, excuse me, Bethany.
Yeah.
You're obviously you see a little bit more commotion going on and some flying pieces of food.
I'm kind of getting worried now just because I hear commotion. I don't know where Jarvis is, so I'm trying to push my way past the guard as well as kind of keeping the kids behind me but attached to me. I kind of tell them to grab a hold of my dress as we're trying to push through.
Oh, so you're trying to push through with the kids and everything? The guards seem to be totally... I want you to roll... just roll and beat the 8, okay?
Okay. At this point, I am saying a prayer, just praying that Jarvis is okay.
Okay, well, actually add
17.
your spirit to it.
All right, so that's 18.
Okay. Now, what this is going to do to you, Jarvis, is something called bless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you get to use this one time when you're and cool, by the way, Don. Or Bethany. But nevertheless, whenever you roll, which you're about to roll again, so go ahead and roll it and add a 1. Or an additional 1, I should say. For the bless.
Okay. Ooh, that would be 12.
12 with the additional 1?
Yeah, with the additional
Okay,
1.
well, actually, that did it. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that bless actually did that.
It was a miracle.
There you go. So this other dude, after you've stuck him a few times, there was 3 left around you.
Mm-hmm.
After he falls, the crowd, they're halfway obscured and getting stuff thrown at them. Nothing's hit you yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stuff has fallen and rolled around your feet, but you can tell.
Yeah.
And, the crowd, you got a sense that the crowd's coming up against them. So, in fact, I want you to roll at this moment for the crowd seeing you do that, roll your prestige.
Okay.
And, try to beat an 8.
17.
17. All right. You are, the crowd is really getting into it, and they're shoving whenever the guys that aren't directly focused on you, they're shoving them and kind of pushing them, so they're getting in thick, right? So anyway, roll again if you're continuing with the combat.
All right. That's 16.
16. All right. Do what you do. And do it well.
I engage the next one in front of me. I'm just kind of shield up,
Yeah.
more or less coming for another strike again.
Yeah. Okay. You smack him, and down he goes. Not only from that, but a stone hits the side of his head. You know, that was coming in, bullet into. So you hit that, and that blessed stone smacks him in the side of the head. Divine intervention, and he drops and tilts and rolls, right? And he's rolling. He's covering up because he's still getting hit by stones.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at this point in time, the crowd is really kind of raised up, and it's kind of swallowing out the other people. The other guy, he's so focused on whatever, the crowd around him and buffeting. They've kind of almost swallowed him up. You know what I mean? Around him, and they're hitting him with rocks, and they've picked up rocks or whatever like that. And Merrick, you don't know where he is immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like the town is kind of just beating the hell out of these guys. Put it bluntly.
Okay.
All right, and so you're being kind of buffeted. Nobody's hitting you, but it's like they're kind of turning mad dog and getting after these guys and pushing past you. And you're standing there kind of like with the blood sprays that you've hit, and you're stuck a couple of times. And you're standing there, you kind of let your shield drop and look around, and this chaos is ensuing as they're kind of like rabid on these guys. And you can hear Merrick over in the corner, and you look around and you don't see no standing enemy. But what you do see on the dais, you see a fellow noble in the stocks, Lord Washburn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to hold his head up to look and see what's going on, and he's there.
Okay.
Donnie, by this time you've walked in there. You see the commotion that's going on. You see Jarvis standing there with his hand, with his shield and his sword, looking around. And you see the man in the stock, because everybody's pretty much on a lower level down with these guys, right? Just beating, and something's going on.
So I see that he's okay, and he's up there with his sword and all, and I'm like, praise be, he truly is a warrior of light. And then I look to see if there's a spot, kind of like off the corner kind of place where I can tell the kids, stay there on the corner of a building or whatnot, that they can be safe from the commotion, because I want to go up to where he's at, because I want to, help him out.
Okay. yeah, you go there, and Jarvis, you're a little bit stunned by this happening from like 0 to 60.
Mhm.
Okay, and you're trying to weed your way through there. You can make your way through there. It's just going to be a little bit, and you hear her calling you, trying to get your attention as you're looking at the noble there.
Mhm.
You feel a presence.
Yeah. I look at her and I'm like, go help the Lord, help the nobleman, please.
So I climb up on there, and I want to take out one of my arrows because I seen that it's locked in. Is it rope locked in or whatnot, or is it metal lock that's keeping them in there?
Well, at this time, it's not. There's metal locks, but it looks like they hadn't fully put it down correctly. You know what I mean? Since
Yeah.
for some reason, but they were interrupted basically before they could get it good. So it looks like halfway done. So it's not fully secure. There's a little bit of wiggle room, and he's trying to, and he's, my dear lady, undo the clasp. I can't reach it.
I follow his direction, and I'm getting underneath the clasp with my arrow, trying to give a little bit extra leverage up in there. And try to pop it.
He does, and then you help him lift the stock over, and he stands up, and he straightens himself. And he calls out, "My people!" And the din of all the commotion and whatever, they're beaten like senselessly, because you got a feeling these guys are already probably dead.
Yeah.
And like Mussolini, it's kind of crazy. And then as they start to notice him and take notice, they stand up one by one and start turning around and looking. People, you have done well. You. And he points toward you, Jarvis, as you stand there. Come. And he beckons you to the stage. Or to the dais.
Mm-hmm.
You going up there?
Yeah, I approach.
Okay. And he looks at you with he clasps your shoulders or whatever like that. He holds that, and then he hugs you and like a bear hug, and then backs up again. Sir, take a knee. To you.
Okay.
Okay. You take a knee.
I'm taking a knee.
And you're down on your sword or whatever, and you feel him hold the pommel of the sword or whatever, and he picks it up. What is your name, good sir?
My name is Jarvis.
And then he starts dubbing you right then and there on each shoulder. Before all, this is Lord Jarvis, the bold. And he arise, and he helps lift you up, and gives you back your sword, and then turns around and holds his hand up for the people, and then a huge cheer go up. Okay, and that's where we'll leave it. All right.
Awesome.
So that's crazy. The
Yeah, it is.
well, what's crazy is Jason wrote these things, and one of them, I'm gonna tell you what happened here, what we was rolling. The first one was okay. Peasants looking for loved ones among Dredgewater ruins.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, so that's what y'all came upon.
Mm-hmm.
You started heading south. The next one I rolled was refugees camping south of Dredgewater ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, refugees, but it's probably a mixture of different towns and banditry got mixed in. But so I'm like, well, that makes sense. All right. Then I rolled Hanso traders looking for Dredgewaters. But see, what's crazy about that is I had described like some merchant traders and musicians just on a whim when I was saying that it was assembly of different people. So I said, Hanso traders, because if y'all would have gotten in with them and talked with them, you could have diverged off on a different thing. Y'all didn't leave because I had rolled an additional one. I had rolled traveling musicians unknowingly ill with plague.
Oh,
So
Lord.
I was like, oh, geez, well, this is happening too. They're probably going to stick around for that. So y'all decided to beat it out of there. All right, so you get down here, and then I roll Lord Washburn held in stockades by bandits. Lots of bandits. Which was crazy because the one that I had rolled, that Jason ran me through, I had went to that town. My little talk about the man leaving with the girl was me leaving with the girl because it was a very similar situation.
Yeah.
You know, her brother was trying to go back to save, you know, or to reclaim that thing for Lord Washburn or whatever. And he was in the stockades and they had already killed him. That was the one dude that I said was in the stockades that was dead. And so I was taking his little sister out of that area, running her to safety in my game when y'all was coming in and past me. And then you, Jarvis, had to take over the whole, you know, take them all out. So, I mean, legitimately, you saved him. You did what old boy couldn't. The prince that was, you know, in my game or whatever did that. So, I mean,
cool.
like that. And see, that would give you an additional. Now, I love the bless thing, too, because it gives you a +1. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that came in handy.
But nevertheless, yeah, because, I mean, how many, you had been hit, what, 3 times, I think?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have all that many, and you'd have been dropping if it would have taken a turn for the worse. So anyway, that was cool. You reestablished him. It all worked with that other game that he had me run through, and that's where I started you because that whole he had rolled flood and it flooded Dredgewater. I did a whole adventure and then it flooded. That's where I said that sword I had, that +2 sword, got lost. It's in there.
Wow.
It was crazy how all that kind of just worked together and made sense with the game that I was in. You know,
Exactly.
Anyway, as far as a quick feedback, I know it's probably getting late and you're going to get off here, but we could either do it, you could say something about it later. I know Jason will watch this if I can get it to him, but you enjoyed it enough, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that was really fun. I liked how simplistic, but it doesn't, it's not too simplistic that it's boring or whatnot. It's just that right amount.
Yeah.
Stuff. Like I didn't feel like I was missing or leaving out anything or wishing I had something. Like that was super easy and fun. Like it was just intense.
Yeah. I guess the trick is not make it feel like totally just made up, but that you're empowered as a player to make sense that you got a little bit. You can take what you have and apply it to a situation to leverage it in your favor. You know, and that was cool. You did the bless. But it also gives you liberty to think of something that may get you out of it.
Exactly. It frees you up. It really makes you think, okay, what would this character do? And that's why it's like, okay, clearly she's concerned about the people because, you know, she's wanting to look for a doctor on, you know, I was thinking for 2 reasons. A, if I saw that there was, you know, the doctor there treating people with the plague, oh shit, we got to get out of there. Or if I see a doctor just tending wounds, I can send that doctor down to help those, you know, because my character is the type that she wants to help, and she knows that, you know, that the best way to do it is, you know, spreading the wealth, and she has that moral virtue of, you know, but.
Clearly more level-headed than Jarvis, because Jarvis is just that naivety, but bullheaded, ready to rush in to prove himself.
Yeah, it worked out. It could have been very different. There's like 10 guys, and they've came in. And y'all still don't know what happened with, you know, maybe the rest of the town. Actually,
the Merrick. Yeah.
You know, so, but. That was cool. I say right now, because when we don't give XP, we give repute points. And in the Middle Ages, it's important your prestige and what you were in the Middle Ages means a lot to the value of your character, because if your renown is up there, whether it's infamous or famous,
Exactly.
it weighs on there. So you immediately, just that situation that occurred, are instantly famous in this area, and you've just been knighted. So you're automatically up. And I couldn't have planned that because I had zero idea of what we was going to do. This is all based off what Jason said. Other than saying, well, I guess I'll stick it right after the flood, or right after the flood occurred, to kind of pick up where I left off.
Yeah.
But, geez, yeah, you got a repute point, and I would say this, because Donnie let him out, and since she's associated with you, if it's a situation where you would take her into your confidence, because there could be a repute point for her in the wings, basically. In other words, you're set up to be kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're wanting to do in this game, is to build yourself, your renowned, up to a position of authority, and you can climb that ladder. And y'all started with 3, so you was already of some kind of repute, at least in the general area that you live and were now. That's why they looked at you as a mother figure, basically. Anyway, guys, I don't want to keep y'all, but I really appreciate this. See if I get Jason, let him take a look at it. And anyway, apologize, Jason,
Thank you.
about not saying what your target difficulty you was going to hit, because I wasn't doing that initially. I'm like,
But to be honest, I kind of like when you didn't say it.
It's like jinxing it or something.
Yeah,
really?
I kind of like the gameplay of being on the edge of, do we do it? Versus knowing. I kind of like that.
Oh, really?
Not knowing. Yeah, that's just my style of play. I know some people want to know it, but me, I like not knowing.
I think maybe it could work both ways, because that was why I put it in, because I like that too. And to be frank with you, I trust the GM. When I'm playing with anybody's GM, and I just trust them, and I play that way too, because I think of the number.
Yeah.
But Jason was right, because he said people like to know that what you have to get over, and sometimes they don't trust the GM. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Because it's like ages we've been playing, like you feel like you want to know. I want to see the dice. But heck, I trust what you're rolling and what the number you try to get, So
yeah,
but it can work either way.
Yeah, when I'm DMing, even though I use DM screens and stuff like that, it's mostly just to make it where I have my notes or maps or drawings, because of how my wooden DM screen is that I built. I always roll out in the opening, so that's just how I am. So they know what I'm doing is legit and stuff. So that's just how I am. But I don't not know, or I don't necessarily knowing as a player. I just want to know once the action's done, once I announce it, it's yes, you see. It almost gives that hint of suspense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what I'm probably putting in the rules, and it's up to the table. What the table feels about it. Either you say it or you don't. Because he was right in saying, he think I'm changing this in my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go ahead and let him have it. You're saying rolling in the open. Okay, well, this is the number.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't know.
I like the suspense of
it does add the flavor that, sometimes you need it.
Yeah. You could figure it out anyway after a time. Especially if you're fighting those guys. You knew it would be a 12. 11, you miss. 12, you hit.
Yeah.
But no, that's it's cool. I really appreciate it, guys. It's going to help us with some feedback as guys get playing it. We'll drop your name in there and little credits, whatever. It's just a homebrew thing that we're making anyway. So, but hopefully, I'm trying to do a little art for it now, and the art I got going is very minimalistic. Because Jason had a good idea. He said his wife was drawing a piece where the art, or the warrior or whatever she was drawing, was very minimal features, to where you do that, the player can envision themselves in that role.
Yeah.
So I kind of keep that, and once we get the art done and do some editing on it and put it out there and ship it to you. But the play testing is all important to see if it just flows, because we want a game that can kind of just kick back and forth narratively. Say, this
Yeah.
is what's going on, and let you focus on what is going on, other than keeping you looking at a stat
Yeah.
sheet, going,
Yeah.
what are my options? I always didn't like that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
can I bull rush? Can I do this? Can I do?
Mhm.
Because that limits your character.
Yeah.
You know, and it don't let you really think outside of the box, like you
Yeah.
know,
Or you're
oh,
having to
this.
take, send your results off to NASA to find out if you hit or not.
Yeah, like break out the
Exactly.
slide rule, like that
Yeah.
little chicken on Foghorn Leghorn. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? No, I don't think I'm gonna look in there. I just may be in there. But anyway,
You're
anyway.
right. It felt like that one game that me, you, and Jason were running, the future
Yeah.
post-apocalypse. Yeah, I like that. It has that really smooth feel. It's like just natural.
Mm.
Yeah, and I love. It always surprises me, like how the seeds come together. It's like the dots will connect, and I have no freaking clue
Yeah.
beforehand. I didn't look at that sheet. I still haven't looked at the rest of those. I'll hone in and see
Yeah.
number 9 and just read across it. And I go, dang, that works. I
Yeah.
just happened to say musicians with the plague. Oh crap, they're screwed. And then I even rolled to see if any of y'all got it. And I
Yeah.
rolled a 20. I rolled a 20. That's really odd because
Yeah.
I'm rolling just on my, because I'll do that. The DM don't have to do it, but I like doing that just to see what happens on the side. Like when
Yeah.
that guy was trying to run away, does he get away? And I rolled it and said 1. I said, nope, he don't get away. And then whenever I was rolling to see if there's any of them contracted plague, I rolled a 20. No.
Whew.
Yeah, I know.
Lucky us.
I know, because I was like, yeah, because they could lead off.
Exactly. I mean, the kids were right up on them, you know?
Anything. Yeah, I know. That's why I was rolling. I said they've been around. Them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going around to each of them like that.
They were blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Donnie could actually prayed for him and see if it could have
Yeah.
reversed anything or whatever.
Yeah.
But, gee, you said, let's get the heck out of here.
Mhm.
I ain't got time to do this. To
You know,
try.
I
No.
just realized something. I basically kidnapped 5 kids.
I know. I was like, are there
Oh
parents
my
here?
God, you're a bad person.
I was like, are there parents here? But see, even as a DM, I'll roll that just to find out. Like,
And I'm
because I
your
don't-
accomplice.
Yeah.
Kidnapping 5 kids.
We're
That's what I was
gonna
thinking.
have wanted posters.
Like, are the kids going to rebel? No, they're not.
We're going to Neverland, kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh my God.
I'm
had to
Peter
go-
Pan.
Good Lord. Michael Jackson driving a ice cream truck.
Exactly.
You want a snow cone? No.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, it was great, guys. Really appreciate it. Turned
Yeah.
out to be a good little game, and I love
Yeah.
how it
Yeah, yeah.
weaved in to make a larger tapestry about even the game that I played.
Yeah.
That Jason ran me through. I'm like, this is perfect. It's working out. I think he's gonna like it too. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'll try to upload it. Hopefully, it gets there. If not,
Yep.
Yeah.
we'll see. Anyway, anybody who watched, Jason, notice you.
Yes,
Thanks,
Jason.
and we'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye bye.
Yep.
Bye.